Pam Bondi sat quietly in the dimly lit courtroom, her fingers gently tapping the wooden desk as she watched Jasmine Crockett pace the floor, her voice rising in passion. The case was high-profile, a corporate corruption scandal that had drawn national attention. Pam had spent months meticulously preparing her strategy, but what she had in store was not just a legal maneuver, it was a lesson in integrity, a reminder that the law wasn't just about winning but about serving justice. Jasmine was a fierce opponent, known for her charisma and sharp rhetoric. She thrived in the spotlight, her arguments laced with emotion and conviction. Today was no different. She argued that her client, a billionaire philanthropist, had only been trying to help struggling small businesses and that the accusations against him were nothing more than a political witch hunt. Pam listened patiently, waiting for the right moment. She had uncovered something that Jasmine hadn't, something that would change the entire trajectory of the case. But Pam wasn't interested in humiliating her opponent, she wanted to show her a truth that went beyond the courtroom. As Jasmine delivered what she thought was her closing statement, Pam rose to her feet. The room fell silent. "Your Honor, I request permission to present one last piece of evidence." The judge nodded, and Pam turned toward the jury. "Ladies and gentlemen, throughout this trial, we've heard about Mr. Reynolds' generosity, his desire to support small businesses. But generosity without transparency can sometimes be a mask for something else." She handed a file to the bailiff, who distributed copies to the judge, jury, and Jasmine. As Jasmine flipped through the pages, her confident expression faltered. "What is this?" she asked, her voice quieter now. "Bank statements," Pam replied, her voice gentle but firm. "A web of transactions that don't just suggest, but prove, that Mr. Reynolds wasn't donating to struggling businesses. He was laundering money through shell companies that funneled funds back into his personal accounts. Every small business he helped was either non-existent or controlled by his associates." A stunned murmur rippled through the courtroom. Jasmine looked down at the documents, then back up at Pam. "You set me up. You let me walk into this, thinking I had the full picture." Pam took a deep breath. "No, Jasmine. I wanted you to see it for yourself. I could have blindsided you with this earlier, made a spectacle of it. But I respect you too much for that. You fight for what you believe in, and that's admirable. But sometimes, our beliefs need to be challenged so we can grow. I wanted you to see the truth and decide for yourself what really matters." Jasmine stood there, motionless. For the first time, she saw beyond the battle of words, beyond the need to win. She had been so convinced of her client's innocence that she hadn't questioned the gaps in his story. She closed the file and looked at the judge. "Your Honor, I need a recess." The courtroom emptied, and outside, Jasmine found Pam waiting by the steps. "You could have embarrassed me in there," Jasmine admitted. "But you didn't." "Why?" Pam smiled, a warmth in her eyes that spoke of lessons learned through years of experience. "Because the law isn't about pride or power. It's about truth. And truth isn't something we force on people, it's something we help them see for themselves." Jasmine exhaled, nodding. "Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong. Maybe it's not about winning at all costs." Pam placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We're all still learning, Jasmine. Even those of us who think we know it all." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues across the city skyline, Jasmine felt something shift inside her. It wasn't just about this case anymore. It was about the kind of lawyer she wanted to be, the kind of person she aspired to become. And in that moment, she knew, Pam Bondi hadn't just outsmarted her, she had shown her the path to something greater. A legal battle had turned into a lesson in integrity, and a rivalry had transformed into mutual respect. It wasn't about who won or lost, it was about the impact they left behind. And that was a victory worth far more than any courtroom triumph. Here's your inspiring and emotionally engaging short story. Let me know if you'd like any refinements.